All right, guys, we're moving on. Now we're going to go and we're going to have a conversation with ADF lawyer Lathan Watts about the state of our lawsuit the Babylon Bee filed against the state of California.
More like California.
Oh,
solid burn.
All right, so as we mentioned, we're teaming up with ADF, and we've sued Gavin Newsom's California after they passed two laws that limit free speech and censor comedy in the state. So the two laws are AB 2839 and AB 2655. Do you want to tell us a little bit about what these laws say and what they restrict?
Certainly. So one of them basically turns media platforms into apparatchiks of the state, asking them to crack down on content that could be deemed disinformation or that could potentially harm the electoral prospects of a candidate, what many people refer to as campaigning. The other one impacts individual citizens. So if the Babylon Bee shared a post and then I saw it, liked it, and shared it myself, and someone else who didn't like it saw that, they could then sue me for sharing the post and recover attorney fees. So it all started when Governor Newsom saw a parody video that he didn't like about Vice President Kamala Harris and noted that he thought it should be illegal. And the folks in the legislature picked up on that not so subtle dog whistle and hopped to it and passed these two laws. But thankfully, there are some federal judges in California who apparently still have a copy of the Constitution lying around and have put a stop to these laws going into effect temporarily while this litigation goes forward. And we're optimistic that we will prevail ultimately on behalf of you, our client, and everybody who just likes to either tell jokes on the internet or read jokes on the internet.
Now, you're not charging us for this call, right?
Correct. You get what you pay for.
Oh, phew. Oh, goodness.
I was close. You're going to have to give him my salary.
I know. That's
terrible. So more importantly, why do you have any understanding of why the laws are numbered the way they are? Why did they sound like droid designations in Star Wars?
For that, I would have to have a much deeper knowledge of the California legislative process, and my own mental health is just more important to me.
That's fair.
So I'm certain, just based on the typical legislative process, the number of bills that they have to get through, it eventually gets numbered and it comes out a certain way. But you're right; it does sound like bad clones from Star Wars.
Oh yeah, it's like
AB 2839. Do you copy?
Yes, I'm here. That's my bit.
That's how droids talk. Are you a Star Wars sequel guy or a Star Wars prequel guy?
Oh, well, I mean, episodes 4, 5, and 6.
Okay. That was a trick question.
For sure.
Okay. All right. So we have some Babylon Bee headlines that we want to show you, and we want to ask how these would potentially be affected by this censorship law. So, Dan, I think we can show him these on our screen here. Here's the first one. Tim Waltz asks which button to press in Madden to make players slap each other's butts. But notice that there's a giant label that says satire.
Yeah.
Right. Which obviously completely, kills the joke. If you're doing satire, if you have to tell everybody it's satire, it kind of defeats the purpose. But that is what the law, would require you if it was allowed to go into effect. As you would have to have these huge disclaimers to let everybody know this is satire. And it really kind of demonstrates how little the folks in the California government think of that they really think, I guess, that the average Californian would read this headline and think that it's real.
Well, to be fair. But so giant satire label, that saves us though. So good. So that's all we have to do, Travis.
In your professional legal opinion, it doesn't need an exclamation point. It's just says satire. That's good.
I think you're cool with just the disclaimer that
satire
this is indeed satire.
Okay. What's our next one here? AOC joins Hamas. This is just a joke. AOC did not really join Hamas.
Yeah, I think same song, different verse.
So that we're safe there.
Headline ruined by by lawyers and legislators.
Okay, all right.
I'm going to make a different counterpoint here. I don't think it ruins the joke. I think it makes it funnier.
It does make it funnier to me, actually. All right, what's our next one here? Newsom issues ban on legal citizen voting. Satire.
Again, I think you've got the satire label on there. It's you're probably going to be.
You're gonna be okay. Now, what if we didn't have the satire in here? Is the law fuzzy about something like this, or?
This is where that really vague language in the law is so dangerous, because things that it says could potentially harm someone's electoral prospects. Gavin Newsom under this law, could say, well, I think this might hurt my chances of getting reelected if and when I run, or could hurt me getting elected if I run for higher office at some point. And so under this law, I can either come after you with legal proceedings or force this to be taken down.
Okay.
So this is where, the language in legislation is, words matter. And when you use vague terms like that, it creates the opportunity for censorship on a wide scale.
Yeah, the phrase materially deceitful content always makes me do a double take. Like, what does
exactly.
that mean?
Because who decides if it's materially deceptive?
Yeah.
Well, probably the droid AB2389.
He's
Those who
fluent.
are already in power.
He's fluent in over 6 million forms of deceitful content.
Oh, yeah. So
But apparently not satire.
Yeah. So what's your counter argument to the idea that leftists always bring up when there's an issue of freedom of speech, and they say, well, it's not legal to yell fire in a theater.
So the answer to speech with which you disagree is always more speech, not to shut down the speech that you don't like. There have always been laws that deal with things like defamation, like slander, libel, in words or speech that incite people to violence, that literally call people to take violent action. Those are not protected by the First Amendment. But just because they don't like it does not make it harmful. And that's really sort of where the state of California is right now. We don't like this speech. We can say that it's disinformation or potentially harmful, and therefore it should be not allowed. It is the unpopular opinion that has always needed the most protection. The founders understood that when they wrote the First Amendment. All
right. Well, here's a couple more Babylon Bee headlines. Gavin Newsom named U-Haul Salesperson of the Year. Satire. And we actually, maybe this influences your decision, but we actually have a plaque.
Yeah.
For him.
I saw that on the set.
Yeah. But notice that the plaque.
I'm surprised that U-Haul has not just officially named their Salesperson of the Year award in Newsom.
That's a good idea.
I mean, I live in Texas, and there's a popular phrase around here that no one creates more jobs in Texas than Gavin Newsom.
So is the plaque problematic because the plaque itself does not say satire anywhere on it?
Let's see. Under this law, I think as long as you don't maybe take a picture of that plaque and post it publicly to social media, where it could then be misunderstood and or shared and misunderstood, then you're probably okay.
I'm going to do it right now.
Oh.
All right.
Kyle's a lawbreaker.
Do we have a couple more? Newsom assures homeless they can resume pooping on sidewalks once his boss leaves. This is political humor, because San Francisco normally has poop in the streets, but Gavin Newsom cleaned up the streets when Xi Jinping came to town. So the disclaimer maybe saves us. I think I know what he's going to say. The disclaimer saves us.
You think so?
Yeah, I think so. Typically a longer headline than I try to write for my articles, but you got to do what you got to do.
Hey, you give us legal advice, we'll handle the comedy. Is that all we got? Okay,
yeah. But do you think the caps lock kind of creates an angry environment that could trigger people? That's
true.
Like, oh no, they're yelling at me.
Thing though.
Yeah.
But we don't have an HR department, so.
Oh, then we're safe.
We don't have anything. All right. Well, thanks for weighing in and updating. So the court put a hold on the enforcement of these laws. What's the next step, and how can people support ADF's work in standing up for free speech?
Right. So the first of the laws, which went into effect immediately when it was signed, has been enjoined by the federal court. And then the second one, which had a later effective date, there will likely still be more litigation to go on that. But for the time being, you're free to post jokes on the internet. For those that want to support us and learn more about this case and others where we defend free speech and religious liberty and sanctity of life and marriage and parental rights, adflegal.org is our website. And hopefully you don't ever need our help, but that's also where you can contact us if you do need our help. And just like with the quality of the legal advice I've been giving here today is free. Our actual litigators are actually much more better experts, but we don't charge our clients either, even for the good legal advice. So adflegal.org is where you can find us.
Do you guys charge for like the mints that are on the secretary's desk, or are those also free?
As far as I know, those are free.
Oh.
So I could just come in and be like, hey, I'd like to have a meeting, take some mints, and then leave, and you won't charge me?
I mean, you may have to explain it to building security, but I don't think I've got a say in that.
Worth the risk.
Absolutely, for those.
All right, thank you so much for coming on, and thanks for being partners with us in this case.
Thank you. Glad to be here.